I just made the best video. And then I looked up in the corner and it said mute, which is why that video has no sound. So, anyway, this is Coach Fusion coming at you because I'm just going to say it all over again because it's going to be even better because I wrote the stuff down that's important for you guys. And I've got workouts 8 weeks sitting here in front of me. It says on a little sticky note. Because now that I feel like I've gotten my intro stuff down to the point where everybody that gets the beginning little package can go through it and in one business week be onboarded all on their own. It's awesome. And then I'm going to start working on the workouts, which I promised a few people, some, but I'm going to give it to everybody because that's the best way to do it. So there's going to be an 8-week progression because you need to have progression in everything to measure stuff. It's pointless going to the gym and exercising in a way that you can't really monitor. So that's why we always go back to the basics, especially when we're doing a transformation, because when we're doing a transformation, we want everything to remain the same as much as possible while we work on the main thing and achieving 90% over time. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It's however long it takes. That's how long it will take for this to be a permanent process. Permanent processes take time because you're actually making new routines and rituals and turning them into habitual, positive routines and rituals that you do without thinking. Like driving your car, if you're an experienced driver that isn't scared all the time. You just drive along and you don't even know how you got there because the way bigger supercomputer in the back was the one driving. Just ask Dr. Joe Dispenza. Saw him in the private group on Facebook. Check it out. He'll talk to you about your brain because this is all metaphorical. Training, eating, sleeping. That's why I always like using the fitness model as a metaphor. Routines and rituals, right? But you're always the mind that's running everything. You're the one that's interested in what you're doing. I hope you're interested. If you're only doing this because you feel like you're supposed to be, isn't that interesting? I wrote that down, that phrase supposed to be, and then I told you in the video that has no sound that I was about to erase supposed to be out of my lexicon because should is gone already. I only say that word if I've told you that I've said it, like I just did, or I'll even tell you like 5 minutes before and say, I'm going to say that word, like shoulding on somebody. Because I'll never tell anyone they should be doing anything unless I'm just joking around. I'd always say it might be a really awesome idea if you did that because everything that comes out of your mouth, you are hearing twice. Once in your head, go stand outside in a big, huge gale force windstorm with thunder and lightning where you can't hear yourself. You screamed at your buddy. You can still hear yourself in your head, you stooge. So then it comes out of your mouth because you're actually saying it to yourself sometimes while you're talking to yourself, brush your teeth, whatever. And you start saying things and then they come in your conversation and then it's an everyday occurrence and you're hearing negativity twice every time. And it's programming the subconscious. And then that's why negativity seems to follow you around. It's funny how this turned from a training video into a Buddhist mindfulness, how to erase words out of your lexicon and how to change yourself and talking about people like Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's got a whole program where you can change your mind. It's awesome. In fact, let's look that up. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza. And there he is. His meditations. Look at that. He's on Gaia. Of course he's on that channel. Amazon. Here he is. I will teach you how to think correctly. Isn't that interesting? I'm just going to save this right here and then come back. There. That's how easy
right now,
it is.
the knowledge industry is a 355.
There. You might have to go through an ad or two, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to be making some workouts for everybody. There's going to be like work sets and reps and everything. And I'm going to do my very best to have it onto the Gazy platform where everyone can have a look at it and see it in the same format that I wrote it out, but just in a different view. That's all it is. And yeah, so it's going to be awesome. And you'll have an 8-week progression so that you can watch yourself get stronger, or nothing changes and then I'll know, oh, well, at least it stayed the same and they didn't lose any muscle. Awesome. It's a great measuring stick. And yeah, that can only be done with a well-designed program. So you can choose to take exercises out and replace them, or you can be like the fitness pros, because training is one of the reasons why they do look how they do. It doesn't matter what they do, all the other stuff. They could do all the other things, but if they don't know how to train, they're never going to look a certain way. So one thing they do is they do the same workouts all the time, a lot. They might show you something different on YouTube, but for the majority, they're doing very similar workouts and they're doing the same exercises with enough frequency, not too much space in between, that they can remember. They can be like, yeah, I used like 45 last time. So usually there's some core exercises that you put into a routine all the time. I always had bench press. I didn't do it on Monday. That's when everybody does it. That's another thing. It's like, when could you work out? See, I almost said should. When? You could work out when nobody else is there. Those are the best times. But everyone seems to prefer going at night after work when they're tired. It's way better to get up way earlier and go. Like, I'll get up at 4:30 in the morning. I work a landscaping job. It is incredibly physically taxing. You can do this too. I promise you. But the food, which always comes back to the food, the nutrition, that's why we're always talking about it. That's where you get all the energy to do everything else. So even if you had the perfect 8-week workout with all the sets and reps and tempo, if you see in there tempo, which it is in the Gazy app, these were personal trainers that built that software. So while it may be kind of shaky in other areas, the training part of it's actually pretty good. It's really badly set up in terms of how you look at it. But actually the things that are in it for us are really amazing. They have rep tempo in there. So that means you've got so many work sets, and you're in those work sets, you're doing so many reps, and the tempo is how fast you're doing it. And a trainer named Ian King, notice I didn't look that up, fitness historian, Ian King, I think he's Australian. Yeah. He made the first rep tempo scheme, and he had 4. But then people like Charles Poliquin, great Canadian from Montreal, tons of Olympic medals, he's reduced it down to 3. So it's your eccentric, that's the lowering negative part. That's the first number. Then there's a dash. And if it says 0, it means that you didn't pause at the bottom. You just went 1,001, 1,002. And then if it said 1 on the way up, so 1, so 201 means 1,001, 1,002, and up. 20x means 1,001, 1,002. X means no. Just go for it. You see there's no final number, really. It's 0. It's just 20x. Sorry, 20x would mean no pause, explode. 202 would be 2 seconds down, no pause, 2 seconds up. 302 would be 3 seconds down. See? There you go. Now you learned about reps. You've learned about training frequencies a little bit. This is just basic information so that when you read the programs, you actually know what's going on. And I'm going to make notes in there in those workouts because you'll see too with the nutrition as well. Well, I'm leaving you piles of notes in the macros, meals, and recipes one, which is where a lot of people tend to hang out. And so we got work sets, reps, tempo, 8 weeks. I'm going to call this one master baseline. So that's it. There's going to be a master baseline. And then I'm just going to go back and keep adding more complexity to it for those that are further along if they need it. And we're going to know that by your metrics. If you only give me one, I got nothing. I need 2 metrics. And if you're doing one and you're measuring one spot, if you're doing a measurement one, start measuring multiple spots. Only do like your left side or your right side. You don't have to do both sides. Just start measuring multiple spots. You don't have to. But the more things that you measure on a consistent basis over time, the more metrics I have and the more I can help you. Okay? So that's it. This is awesome. And remember, pictures are the master metric. Pictures are the master metric. No pictures after the first initial weight loss can't really help you that much without the pictures. Have a better and better day in every way.